Awaken! Kenta! Oh! Oh! Night! Oh! What's up, chat? Let's fucking go! Oh! I'm gonna draw! Oh! How many of you guys actually read Marvel comics instead of just goon to the team hero shooter content that has been blessed you? Name the last time you've read a Marvel comic, and then impossible mode is name the last time you've spent money on a Marvel comic or anything published. Any information from Marvel Comics is the algorithm recommending me Marvel short stories that go nowhere. But don't you want to read the latest What If story about what if Spider-Man got AIDS and it turned him homosexual and he had a homosexual love affair with Venom and then the entire world became ruled by mutants who were making everybody gay? Unfortunately, in the last 5 seconds, I just listed a Marvel plot that's probably more interesting than whatever shitty Marvel plot that you get. But the main problem isn't that their what-if plots are boring, it's that they don't go anywhere because there is no continuity, because you always have to put the toys back in the toy box so you can take them out again. It's not really the content that's the problem. Spider-Man can't be gay if he is Peter Parker. I can't tell if you're like listing an official Marvel like in company rules that they've actually had to set because their writers keep on trying to do stuff like make Spider-Man gay, and they had to like be like officially like you're not allowed to make Peter Parker gay or something, or if this is some sort of internet like logistics that I don't know about. Incredible how China figured it out yet. Western comic writers don't use the same formula. I mean, China hasn't figured it out. They haven't done the comic book shit. The reason why Marvel Comics is dying as like publishing right now is because they're drowning in their own piled up mountain of shit that has accumulated over years and years and years and years, in which they just hold on to the IP. The reason why this doesn't happen in manga is because the publisher doesn't control the IP. The author controls the IP, and then the author can be like, I'm going to end this series, which is something that Marvel will never ever let their, their authors do. So it's just fundamentally different. It's something in-house that leaks somehow. That's pretty funny. They must have had a lot of writers who are just like, here's my amazing new twist on the character, guys. Hold on, wait for it, wait for it. What if Peter Parker realizes that he's gay? And they had to be like, okay, this is the fifth writer that has suggested that we turn Peter Parker gay in the last month. Okay, we're not gonna do it. It's just an official rule now. We're not gonna let you make Peter Parker gay. Just stop it. Why did the Shardy take down 4chan garbage? Because just like how 4chaners are constantly in a imaginary war with Reddit, I assume it was 8chan or something that said that they had hacked down 4chan, right? They've been claiming, right? A Marvel writer wrote a character that is Korean, and when you're Spider-Man, they want to fuck uncontrollably, and I'm not even kidding. Do they want to fuck Peter Parker uncontrollably? Because that wouldn't really be a special power, considering there's like 5 women that already want to fuck Peter Parker uncontrollably. Is this Korean characters? Is there like special superpowers that they just want to have sex with Spider-Man? Because I think there's a lot of women who have that superpower. I might be incorrect, but 4chan dies with a chicken jockey post. I mean, I don't see what's gonna stop them from just, getting it back up and running. Don't tell me that 4chan is so reliant on its fucking Jannies that the only thing you need to do to take down 4chan is to just expose Janny's information. Like, come on, nobody gives a fuck if Janny's lives get ruined. They're literally unpaid slave labor. Why do we care about this shit? They got bitten by the same spider, so they have pheromones that make them want to fuck. Wow, what a deep and compelling story. They have all their fucking info now? Oh no. What will we do now that such important information, such as the fact that all the Jannies live in their mother's houses, just like all the users, and also probably like post on Reddit, and wear fucking Reddit hats. With that information out in the world, what will we do? Alright, no more talking about third-rate Marvel superheroes that nobody gives a fuck about, like Silk. Was Silk in the Madame Web movie that Sony tried to... Well, they didn't try to. They actually released it because they're like legally forced to release a Spider-Man movie every like 7 months or else they lose the IP, so... Was she in it? Okay. When people talk about all the shitty Spider-Verse movies that Sony releases, nobody ever actually talks about this. The only reason I know this is because, like, they talked about it many, many years ago, but I find it interesting how it's never actually mentioned. The reason why there's all this shitty-ass Sony Spider-Man movies is because they literally have to. It's in their fucking contract. If they start to sit on the Spider-Man IP for any extended period of time, they lose it. So in order for them to have like these billion-dollar fucking Peter Parker, you know, what's his name movies, Tom Holland movies, they also have to have incredibly shitty Silk movies that nobody gives a fuck about. Whether the movie is good or not is completely irrelevant. Damn you, USA, and your distribution rights. I assume that it's Marvel's fault or something when they sold the IP during the initial Sam Raimi Spider-Man run, right? That must have been how it worked. They were like, we have to make sure they don't just sit on the IP, so let's just make it so they have to make a Spider-Man movie every couple years. And because this was before the massive superhero boom, they were probably worried that Sony wouldn't actually make enough Spider-Man movies. But instead what they got was way too many Spider-Man movies. And it's actually diluting the importance and the, you know, the quality of their property. So if anything, it ended up worse for Marvel than Sony. She wasn't. Silk is an actual valuable character for Marvel. As long as she's considered quote-unquote part of the Spider-Man expanded universe, Sony should be allowed to use her. So it doesn't really matter whether she's an important character for Marvel or not. How they determine what things are considered a Spider-Man character and what things are considered a Marvel, greater Marvel universe character, I have no fucking idea. Because you'd think Venom would be like the crown jewel of like 90s edge core for Marvel, but it still counts as a Spider-Man verse character, so like there's no way Marvel would have let Sony shit on or make money off of Venom if they had any control. Did you see my question in Discord? No. I already told you guys, my dick is 18 inches long. It's also barbed. I also have 2 penises like those lizards for double the pleasure. Don't tell the woman about this though. I don't want them knocking on my door all the time. It's annoying. Just because I have an 18-inch barbed lizard cock doesn't mean I'm available for sex, women. It was about opening the chats back up for non-subs so people can read and type. Okay. What was the reason why it all got closed down in the first part? It was Hystrixia not wanting to police you guys. If anything, considering Hystrixia is gone and we have fewer mods, wouldn't it be more of a reason for me not to open up the chats? Because there's fewer people to, you know, take care of you, you retards. How do you manage to not sit on your balls every time having enlarged genitals? I just said I had an 18-inch double lizard penis. I didn't say I have large balls. Also, yesterday I had like some weird ball pain for like 1 second. It wasn't really ball pain. It was more like thigh. I felt like a weird sensation in my thighs, and I was immediately like, am I having testicular torsion? And I looked up the symptoms of testicular torsion, and it was like intense pain and vomiting, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not having that, so I guess this isn't as much of an emergency as I thought it would be. Testicular torsion is a big deal, so I guess I would have noticed. You had sperm cramp? What's sperm cramp? I'm not sure if I did. If you're not dying of pain, it's not testicular torsion. As a non-sub, I say roll the dice. Who's actually a mod? I can't even remember who my fucking mods are. Also, isn't the whole point of the Discord just for me to have commission auctions? That was a rhetorical question, it is. The whole point of having chat being limited to subs is so you guys can't just, like, people don't have to pay attention to make sure that you guys aren't posting cheese pizza all the time and stuff, so that's something that I'll let the mods decide. If the current mods are like, we should let non-subs chat in Discord, then I'll change it. If not, then I won't, because I don't plan on, like, policing this shit, so. Non-subs can't see the bidding chat anyway. Does it even fucking matter? If you can't afford a $1 a month sub to my Patreon or Twitch channel or something, I'm pretty sure you can't fucking afford the $1,000 bid that someone just made to commission me. So, like, stop pretending like you're relevant, I guess. What if a $5 bid wins? Has a $5 bid ever won a single time? Ever? The answer is no, it hasn't. Hypothetically, yes, hypothetically anything can happen. I am subbed to the $4 tier on Patreon, and I discovered there was a Discord today. Okay, but that has nothing to do with what people are complaining about right now. What these people are complaining about is they are people who do not want to give me money as a Patreon customer, but they also want to inhabit the Discord. Which is the opposite of what you're talking about. You're someone who is already giving me money as a Patreon supporter, but didn't know there was a Discord. These are people who know there's a Discord but don't want to give me money. As in art tits, which has been the most niche IP anyone has ever commissioned? This is like a whole nother level of ESP inability to spell, and yet because the words are close enough to the English words, I can properly guess what you're wanting to ask. And of course the answer is that the most niche IP is whatever person's personal OC shit is, which is actually very common, because the whole point of commissioning an artist is because, like, hey guys, this is my Fuda Dick Girl Final Fantasy 14 cat girl, you know, thief, and I want her to be, you know, sucking another Fuda cat girl, my other OC's dick. That's just, like, generally what you get as any kind of artist that does commissions. That's, like, the most common type of commission, so there is no such thing as niche IPs in, when you're doing commission work. Vol never did get the blonde woman buying bread commission. I'm writing with one hand, bro. What is this, like Dead or Alive beach volleyball video game gameplay or something? I've seen people ask for Veilguard commissions. I mean, that's pretty. I think that wins right there. I don't think you can get any more niche than fucking Veilguard, an IP that I think not even its own developers cared much about. Honestly, I think the Marvel Rivals version of Penny Parker is a fucking abomination, and I will not have it. My anime mech girl is not allowed to grow any older than middle school. Marvel Rivals designs are very bad taste for some of them, like the F4 not in motherfucking blue. I mean, I think people who are all cooming over Marvel Rivals are just like... It's like people stuck in prison suddenly turning gay because a guy's asshole starts to look basically like a pussy if you've been deprived of women for too long. Video game coomers have been deprived of their sexy video games for so long. Now they're just like, oh my god, I see something that vaguely looks like a woman and a boob. Is that a boob-like object I see? I'm gonna come! Oh! That's what people are like nowadays, so... I don't think Marvel Rivals content is that much of something to coom over, but people can't fucking help themselves. Even Emma Frost's design is bad compared to what we got in the comics. Counterpoint, Emma Frost's design was always bad, even in the comics. Her powers are stupid as well. I don't care how fan servicey everything about her is. Her powers are a psychic, another fucking psychic in X-Men, where they already have like 5 psychics even in the main roster. And also she has, what is it? Fucking liquid diamond on the outside of her skin. What the fuck is liquid diamond? That's fucking retarded. Does that make Twitter a bunch of 1950s era Puritans that think skirts that go below the knees are scandalous since Twitter gets mad at Marvel Rivals designs? No, Twitter is the correct historical parallel for Twitter is Cultural Revolution era Communist Party students who were turning in their own parents and stuff to the Chinese government because they wanted to get brownie points. Twitter, nobody in Twitter actually gives a fuck about how much sexual content is shown or isn't shown. What they care about is virtue signaling harder than everybody else and somehow being considered like superior because they're like, oh my god, you're sexualizing a, woman, fuck you. You're literally causing rape, They just wanna have moral superiority. They don't actually give a fuck about any of this shit. That's Blue Sky now? Yeah, I mean, I'm not on Blue Sky. I mean, I created a Blue Sky account but the whole concept that Twitter is becoming too right-wing, so all the people who are so sensitive to that shit are going to go and create their own service, and it's going to be a nicer, chiller place to be. That doesn't add up. It's just going to be like the left-wing version of that shit, isn't it? You could already see that coming. X is now the Wild fucking West. Sorry, but I'm not even gonna call it X. It's still Twitter. Twitter was always the Wild West. Now it's just the Wild West run by a retard. So yeah, I don't really care one way or the other. Elon has a breeding fetish and it's creepy. For one time, I have to defend Elon on this. Breeding is not a fetish. It is normal human instinct to want to impregnate women. There's nothing weird about it. What is weird is that there's so many women who are willing to take Elon's seed and pass his genetics onto the next generation, considering there are so many pieces of evidence that suggest that he's a genetic dead end, but whatever. If you're that easily convinced that you should breed with him, that's your problem, I guess. Elon isn't a retard, he is from South Africa. He's a retard just like me. You think Elon's on the spectrum or is he on something else? Honestly, it doesn't matter. Your line work's improved. I'm always better. Getting better every day. All of the women who fucked him were gold diggers? Yeah, probably. It do be like that sometime. Hold on, watch it. Let me use the magical clip studio tool. Let's fucking go. Here we go, boys. Do it. Come on. Let's fucking go! One shot, bitch. Fuck yeah, sometimes it works. Meme magic is real. The trick from that stream paid off. That wasn't the trick I was showing on that stream. That's just the tool. If you look at it, it's called Tsukimanaku Kakotte Nuruturu. I've had this for a really long time, but I haven't really been pushing it to its boundaries until recently. And recently I was like, I've been trying to believe in it more. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if you go on to the tool shop of Clip Studio Paint, it's like, it's on the first page because so many people download it. It works like 70% of the time, I would say. Now you have to draw the highlights back in. I didn't have the highlights to begin with, so it's not like I have to draw them new. Can save a little bit of time. Believe in your tricks. They're not really my tricks. If you watch most Clip Studio Paint tutorial YouTubers, which I've been doing recently, most of them use way more tricks than I do. For example, a lot of them recommend you draw using vector layers. So instead of drawing using this hair layer, what you would do is you go new vector layer. See this square? That means it's vectors. Then let's say you draw hair like this. Draw your fucking anime hair like this. Ooh, I fucking love my anime hair. Woo! And then you go and you use the vector brush. Where is it? Vector eraser. You see this shit? The overlap. You use the vector eraser. Doot, 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 doot. Oh, it can't do that. And so on. So a lot of people recommend doing that. I don't really do it. I told you to use vector layers ages ago and you said no, and I'm still not going to use them. I feel like you should be very careful about what tools you use that make stuff easier because it can remove the flavor. Weird incomplete parts is what gives your manga flavor. People don't want to look at something that is just using all the fucking tools that has provided them. I mean, there's been multiple people who ask me what if I draw on paper, and I'm like, no, this is all digital. They're like, what kind of paper do you use? It's like, there is no paper. Which means that whatever techniques I'm using in Clip Studio Paint is working because people can't tell the fucking difference. Are they blind? Well, I think it's because of the type of line quality. People can't tell the difference between analog and digital, and they also can't tell the difference between AI and artist-drawn pictures. And the more professional your drawings look, the more it is that way. So why make your drawings look professional? Just draw them shitty on purpose. That will allow you to conserve time, and it will make your drawings feel more at home, authentic. People can't tell the difference between Sakimi-chan and AI. I couldn't tell the difference between Sakimi-chan and AI even before AI came out. Sakimi-chan's drawings always looked like something that like a Terminator sent back into the past would start producing. It's like if the T-1000 had committed his mission and he's like, now I will retire and start painting. I feel like that's what his drawings would look like. Sakimi-chan drawings. What are you gonna do, Sakimi-chan? I'm shitting on your drawings on stream right now. You're gonna come on stream and debate me? Of course not, because you're too afraid of me. Fight me right now, Sakimi-chan. Sakimi-chan style looks like iffy with proportions. It looked AI even before AI art was a thing. Yeah, there's... I don't know what makes it feel so inorganic, but it really does. Middle-aged man yells at clouds. You guys don't understand. This is all part of my genius strategy of starting an internet fight between me and Sakimi-chan, an artist that is way more popular than me. This will give me a lot of negative publicity and increase my follower count. You're supposed to beef upward with people that are more important and popular than you. It's worked for many rappers, so it should work for me as well. Unfortunately, Sakimi-chan is a coward, and she never watches my stream or replies to me, so there's nothing I can do. Sakimi-chan is a dude? No, she's a cute Asian goddess, which is also why she gets so much money, unironically. I think there's a lot of people that are giving her money because she's their beautiful art girlfriend. You should try beefing with smaller fish first, like Kinkymation. I don't even know what Kinkymation is. I only know about 3 Twitter artists, unless they're like Japanese doujin artists, and I want to pirate their shit for the next Comic-Con. I know Sakimi-chan. I know Nyancha, also known as Girl Who Only Draws Anal Sex. I know... actually, that's about it. Those are the only 2 I can actually name off the top of my head. So yeah, I'm not really in tune with the proper Twitter artist internet drama, I guess. How many Japanese doujin artists are you on a first name basis with? None. Because I don't actually communicate with anybody. I just follow them to know if they're producing something for the next Comic-Con for my masturbation planning. You wouldn't understand. It's a professional masturbator thing. Did you the news about Derpixin? I don't know who that is. Again. I don't follow proper artists. I only look at the porn and then masturbate and worry about the artist behind it later. Do you at least compliment the doji in the comments section? No. I do not. I mean, what's the best artist drama we've gotten from internet artists? What actually happened with Shadman? Did he actually, like, stab somebody or something? I don't actually follow this. Was he actually arrested for knife possession? Has anything more interesting happened than that? I don't think so. 95% of artist drama on Twitter, at least on Western Twitter, is just people being like, I have mental health issues, so I can't complete all the commissions I said I would complete, so I'm gonna disappear now. And then everyone's like, no, you can't do that! No! Shadman is a neo-Nazi that wants to fuck his own mom. That's enough drama. Sounds like Shadman is just being incredibly based and red-pilled. Am I right, fellow 4chaners? Wasn't Shadman a heroin addict? I love how, like, nobody actually cares enough about Shadman to have any real information about him, which is probably better for everyone involved. I feel like Shadman is in the same category as, like, DSP, in that he got onto the whole internet as a vehicle for, like, doing a specific thing really early. Even if he wasn't, like, the most skilled. And then he just sort of, the reputation just stuck with him forever. Because, like, he's certainly not the best artist out there, that's for sure. People just want to see him fail, right? It's like the combination of, like, continuously being famous because people just want to see you fail, and then also, like, being first on the scene. Why is your Discord server full of furries? I don't think it is. But I don't check the not safe for work section, so I don't know. The furries are everywhere. There's nothing we can do. You read Dojin, but you don't look at your own Discord's not safe for work section? Why would I? My own Discord's not safe for work section doesn't post the porn I like. I look at Dojin so I can look at porn I like. Have you tried telling your Discord what porn you like and asking them to post it? That's like asking why Luffy just doesn't ask Shanks that he wants to find the One Piece and then he stays in the beginning island and doesn't go on an adventure to find the One Piece. He just waits for Shanks to find it. It's the journey that matters, guys. The journey to find more porn. The reason why so many Twitter leftists are like that is because so many of them grown up in evangelical household and can't unlearn the tricks. I think it's more just like they want to be important in some aspect of their life. And the vehicle in which they've chosen to be important is having moral superiority over other people on Twitter, which is an extremely sad existence. And yet, it's the only shred of importance they can find. Not anybody can be a god-tier artist like I am, so they have to find satisfaction in other elements. Do you think China will become the new cultural export of the world, or will the language barrier will be too much for your average normie? Before we talk about China being the new cultural export of the world, can we at least, like, wait until they produce, like, one thing that is actually celebrated around the world? I'm not talking about something like Black Myth Wukong, which is a 7 out of 10 soul slop game. Or Genshin Gacha, which is blatant anime plagiarism, gambling addiction simulators. Like, seriously, is that what we're gonna be like? That's what we're gonna use to crown China? If that's all it takes to be considered the cultural exporter of the world, that means our culture is fucking absolute dog trash. I can't wait for more Souls game slop at the Summer Games Fest. What truly bothers me about all the Souls game slop is that everybody just seems to be learning the wrong the wrong lesson from the Dark Souls franchise. What makes Souls games good isn't the shitty fucking combat, the basic bitch-ass combat. It's the level design and item discovery and like build variety. But instead, they always just copy the shitty basic bitch combat and they're like, look guys, it's more Souls games. This is what you wanted, right? It's like, no, that's not what I wanted. Fucking Souls combat is... Not only is it's one of the weakest parts of the game, and it's actually showing its fucking cracks at this point. As we can see in Elden Ring DLC, where they're having Radahn do 5,000 attacks. And then you finally get to do one attack. That's like the fucking limitations of Souls combat right there. Everybody's like, oh, it's such a hard game. It's like, yeah, they have to keep on making it harder so you can suck your own dick harder. They can't, that's why they break all copyrights around the world. Look, when something is good, people will find it and they will like it on its own. And good stuff was being produced out of China in the form of Hong Kong kung fu movies back in the day. And people would watch that shit even if it wasn't shitty VHS bootleg tapes with some of the worst goddamn subtitles you can imagine. Because it was fucking cool. You think anybody who's not in China is watching Wolf Warrior 3 or something? No, they're not, because it's not fucking cool, because people can tell what's cool and what isn't cool. And if something's good, people will recognize that it's good and they'll actually go and consume it. The fact that people aren't consuming whatever the shit that's being produced from China, or Hollywood for that matter right now, is because it's not good. And we all know it's not good. People are like, there has to be someone, has to be like the main cultural exporter of the world. But it's just a knee-jerk reaction to Hollywood being shit right now. The truth is, for the entire younger generation, fucking anime is the #1 cultural export. That and their YouTuber playing Minecraft. Hence why the Minecraft movie is making $10 billion in 5 days. Remember when 7th gen Eminem haircut white protagonists were the worst of culture? My name is John Marine, and I am a USMC Marine of the Strike Force Ghost Recon by Tom Clancy trademark. John Marine, we've just received information that insert whatever country is least politically controversial at the moment has access to a nuclear weapon. No. You have 24 hours to recover the weapon, or else Vancouver will be nuked. Not Vancouver. I hate the debates on the internet. Let China good, let US bad. Like every country is bad and good in their own way. China's pretty fucking bad, guys. The United States is getting there. Give us a few more years and we might be able to get to China bad, but I think everybody who's like, no, there's good parts about China are vastly underestimating how bad China is. Remember, everything you see on the internet is like fucking curated by China, besides all the live leak horror movies, to make it look as good as possible, and it still looks like a fucking horrible dystopian hellhole, so that should tell you a lot about how bad China is. It's really, really fucking bad. Just got my first drawing tablet. I'm wondering what program you're using. I'm using Clip Studio Paint. It's like 50 bucks. If you're buying the cheaper version, which you should. You don't need the more expensive version of Clip Studio Paint unless you're doing manga stuff, which I am. I recently upgraded, and literally the only thing you get is this thing at the top, Story, which is for page organization and like publishing options, which you really do need if you're planning to go pro and you need to have like the proper page dimensions and stuff like that. But if you're not doing that, it's kind of meaningless. Now tell him about how he will never become good unless he spends 1 more billion hours drawing. There's also the possibility that he's extremely talented and he just draws for like 100 hours and he's immediately good, like he's fucking Toriyama or something. There's always that option. Everybody starts being bad, but the people who are like talented get good super fast. I wonder if I look on YouTube what the fastest like time they will advertise in terms of like I got good at drawing. I got good at drawing in, let's see, they actually show any dates. Most of them don't. Half of the videos are just like PewDiePie reactions, by the way. It really did fuck all these amateur artists' brains, didn't it?
Half of the art community overnight to prove to everyone that with enough practice, anyone can become a rather decent artist. He started a challenge where he forced himself to learn how to draw within a certain number of days.
He truly does own everybody's brain, doesn't he?
The challenge and comparing them with the drawings he made at the end, I think it's safe to assume that PewDiePie has made an insane amount of progress within a short period of time and is on track to becoming one of the fastest people to have ridiculously improved their drawings.
Keck W.
Smirking at kids in the art community who have been struggling to do the same with their art for months, if not years. It's always assumed that to become an artist, you need to be born with a talent for making art. And this has become a rather controversial topic in the art community. But using PewDiePie as a case study, I think it's safe to assume that anyone can become an artist, regardless of
this guy is fucking winning. I don't know how good an artist he is, but he has 6,000 subscribers and he's getting 1.3 million views by mentioning fucking PewDiePie in his videos. The US art YouTube like art channels are a fucking joke. None of them actually are like about actually getting good at drawing. They're all about just like socializing with their 13 or 10-year-old followers who really fucking love manga and anime. And then they have like reaction videos, how PewDiePie's drawings made half of the art community quit. This cute drawing got destroyed by art TikTok, blah 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 blah. All this shit. If you go on the Japanese version of like art stuff, they're all like about specific tools you can use, specific brushes you can use in Clip Studio Paint, ways to draw faster, shit like that. They're all about like specific techniques. It just shows you the difference in like skill level and just like mentality and why there's like $1 billion Japanese manga artists and none in America. He ruined all of drawings for everyone. Not me. I'm still better than PewDiePie. PewDiePie's power is limited by the fact that he has a wife and child. He'll never have the incel power that I have. He spends time with his family and lives a balanced life instead of gaming and masturbating every day. He's weak. He's weak and soft. He's not hungry like I am. I love how all it took was everyone's favorite YouTuber or least favorite YouTuber, depending on who you are, to draw a few floating anime heads, looking at references probably, to just like mind break everybody. It's like, no, is that a floating anime head in white space? How could this be? We can never come back from this art, Chads. It's over. They jelly, they deserve AI. Well, if we deserve AI, don't worry, because we got AI. Now anybody can be a god tier artist by using whatever insert latest AI prompting software. You draw Emma Frost with huge meme thighs like actual squares. They really went overboard with Emma Frost, didn't they? Somebody needs to start reversing the direction of the thighs before it's too late. At some point, people figured out that the thighs were too thin, and now it's just been like a progression where they get thicker and thicker and thicker to the point where Emma Frost literally has Chun-Li thick thighs, These are thigh proportions that should only be possible if you're Chun-Li. She's not even like a kick character. They really fucking overdid this one. She's supposed to be more of a model type. I can't remember what year, but this started in there's like a Japanese manga artist who wrote in his like the post-word little mangas that they have in the books as like bonus content about the conversation that he had with his editor, and his editor was like, stop drawing the thighs so thick. And he's like, the thighs aren't thick. And the guy's like, yes, they are. And he's like, no, they're not. I feel like that was the first discussion. We had the public discourse. Yeah, it's actually a fucking Pixiv page. Oh, this was Gege. I didn't know that. What year was this? The fucking infamous Jujutsu Kaisen. The editor is like, the thighs are too thick. The girl's thighs are too thick. And he's like, no, they're not. He's like, they're too thick. No, they're not. They're pretty thick. This must have been pre-Jujutsu Kaisen, before the actual series started. Just based on how the drawing looks. It's normal chubby girl thighs. You say that because you're not in Japan. Japanese girls don't have thighs this thick. They really don't. In America, there's a million girls with thighs that thick because you should look up Gege and Fujimoto's Sonas having sex. I still don't believe that Gege is a man. In my mind, Gege is a female. The men are just too, like, Fujoshi core for me to ever believe that Gege is, a heterosexual man. I'm always just like, this has gotta be a woman. Maybe that's why they're not having children. People need to stop with the whole Japan has low birth rate meme. Because the whole thing is the entire world except for like extreme third world countries like every war-torn country in Africa have low birth rates. It's not a Japanese thing, it's the entire fucking world. And people being like, LMAO, look at the Japanese with their low birth rates, haha, is kind of ignoring the problem. It's pretty serious cope, if you ask me. It's like, oh, it's a Japanese problem, guys. Haha, those silly Japanese with their anime. It's like, no, everybody is not having kids. As soon as you reach that developed economy stage, people basically stop having kids. Jujutsu Kaisen ended in an awkward-ass way. It's like Gege ran out of ideas and said, fuck it, it ends here, much like Dress Up Darling. I mean, do you want them to continue it when they're out of ideas, though? What's the other option? Ask ChatGPT for ideas? I mean, what are you supposed to do when you run out of ideas? I mean, he closed all the story threads. What's the correct way to end a story when you have, like, killed off all your main characters and shit? When you have to choose between paying rent or feeding your kid, the population pyramid does a cute flip. Yeah, except people in poor-ass countries are way poorer than the countries that aren't having kids, though. That isn't stopping them from having kids. In terms of, like, the possibility of not being able to feed yourself because you have too many kids, that's way more of a real problem in, like, the poor-ass countries that are having too many kids. They don't have, like, social services to save their ass most of the time. I do think it's much more of a mentality thing than any kind of like, no, I don't have enough money. Poor-ass countries don't care whether their kids are starving or not. I think that's step one, is to just not care as much. People are like, all these liberals are like, I don't want to have a child because I don't want them to be born into this horrible world of global warming and fascism and stuff like that. It's like, you think people gave a fuck back in the day? They're like, I'm gonna have 10 kids because I want them to give me free labor. It's like, I will use my children as slave labor and I don't give a fuck. Remember my grandpa telling me I had 10 brothers and like 5 or 6 died before 10. Yeah, I think the population, like the birth rate, is just a direct consequence of life being shitty. When life is shitty, people have more kids. I think it's really that simple. And when life gets better, people are like, I don't need to have as many kids. So if life gets shitty again, people will start having more kids. The thing is, I'm old enough to remember when in my youth, we were still in the phase where there was like people were legitimately terrified because the population of the planet was too high. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, people are having too many children. We have to airdrop 10 billion condoms in sub-Saharan Africa to make them stop having children. Why are all these Africans having children? We have to stop them now." And now people are like, "No, everybody needs to start having kids again. Please stop. Stop abstaining." We're all gonna go extinct if you don't start having babies. Oh my god. What's the logic of that? Fucking your problems away and leave the hassle of pregnancy to women, or does the survival instinct take over? I think it's just, it's not logical. I think all the talk about, like, life isn't good enough, or I can't have kids because I don't have enough money, all that stuff is, just cope that we do after the fact. We're just justifying our decisions afterwards. But I think people just fuck and then worry about the consequences later in most cases. Now you have microplastics in your balls and brain. I mean, the cons of this whole situation is that humanity might go extinct. But the positive is that humanity might go extinct. So let's look on the bright side. I personally would like to see the aliens come to Earth a million years from now and be like, look, they all died off because their testicles filled up with microplastics. I mean, if I don't get to have sex, nobody should get to have sex. Am I right, fellow incels? The thing is that people are having sex. They're just not having children. Advancements in modern medicine which guarantee the survival of one child disincentivize making more. That's sort of what I think, yeah. I think it's a combination of there's just not like the survival instinct kicking in, and also back in the day, having the more children you had, the more free labor you had. So it was just like rationally, it was a economically advantageous situation. The more kids you had, the more farm hands there were. And now that you're expected to put so much money into the whole child rearing process, people see it more of it as an expense or a luxury. But I think it's actually way more simple than that ultimately. If you look at the first world countries that have high birth rates, one of them is Israel. And what does Israel have? a constant sense of like we're all going to be killed by all the countries around us. So people are always in survival mode in Israel. I think that has a lot to do with it. As soon as you start to reach modernity and you feel like life isn't as shitty as it used to be, then people sort of relax and have less kids. I think that's sort of how it works. They have Orthodox Jews who breed like crazy. It's not just like the religion. I feel like it's a combo of the religion and just like the sense of peril. The time when we had the highest birth rates in history, or whatever, one of the highest in history. I'm not sure when the highest in history was. Right after World War II, when everyone was like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna fucking die. Let's all get back and fuck." I think it sort of goes together. It's definitely not feminism. My mother, being a feminist, constantly talks about how the reason why we're not having more children is because there's not enough feminism. And of course, I've heard the exact opposite thing from men who are like, feminism is the reason why people aren't having kids. We must put women in breeding factories. But the most feminist program countries on the planet and the least feminist countries on the planet, like fucking Saudi Arabia, both have pretty low birth rates as like compared to like Sweden and stuff, which has a shit ton of feminist policies. So I really don't think it has anything to do with feminism at all. Doesn't Israel also have a lot of subsidies for childcare, all because they have their ethnic supremacy project in the Middle East? Yeah, but a lot of other countries have subsidies for childcare, and they don't succeed at having birth rates even half as high as Israel. I can't remember which Eastern European country it was. Was it like Hungary or something? They did like a shit ton of subsidies and shit like that, and they barely got the birth rates up past replacement level, so... We need hybrid AI human sex dolls. It's not like people aren't having sex. People are having so much sex in Japan that there's been like syphilis outbreaks and stuff. What people haven't been having is children. So what we need is replacement ovary setups. And probably not even that. Then we need people to raise the kids, which is what takes way more time than just the birthing process. I think society also should start changing so that doesn't need to constantly need more people to work. Trust me, if the corporations could put you out of a job and replace you with AI or a machine, they already would have. The fact that they can't is just part of it. Anyways, we're all ignoring the whole part about like global warming putting us all under the ocean in a few years. So if we're thinking from a global warming perspective, it's definitely a good thing that there's way fewer people. I like how there's so many fucking insane extinction level global problems that people can't even like figure out which one they want to be worried about the most. And some of the problems solve each other. like global warming is a huge problem, but if the human population is halved, then that solves a lot of it just having way fewer people. Global warming, that's so 2000. So when I was growing up, it was like uh, the human population is too high. We won't be able to feed everyone. Africans need to stop having sex, not us, white people that use all the resources. It's the Africans, their problem. And then it became like the rainforest deforestation. Nobody gives a fuck about rainforest deforestation right now, at least in the way that we cared about in the 90s before we even had global warming. In the 90s, when we were talking about deforestation, we weren't like, oh my god, the oxygen levels, blah blah blah. We were just like, think about all the jungle cats and stuff like that. And by we, I mean what we were told to think in our elementary school courses. We got our Fern Gully rainforest propaganda. I'd just like to say that I already said this once, but liquid diamond body armor or whatever the fuck it is incredibly stupid. It was stupid before and it's stupid now. The model of pension is basically we use the new money that enters the pension system to pay the older people. That is cashing in is kind of a shitty idea. Unfortunately, the old people vote, so there's no way to stop it unless you somehow create a non-democratic system. But boomers are the most coddled generation in history, so anything that prevents them from getting their gibbies, their fucking money muns, they are not going to be okay with it. They want their fucking handouts. I personally fight back against this system by never moving out of my mother's house. If I'm going to have to pay for her massive social security checks, I may as well, utilize whatever resources are available to me. The only way for generational wealth is if your parents have a paid off home and maybe a decent chunk of 401k that you can inherit. I mean, that's like the very definition of generational wealth. The only way for generational wealth is if your parents have wealth and you inherit it. Yeah, that is what generational wealth means. No shit. It's good to have rich parents. That is true. I'm glad you figured it out. That is the cheat code. It has always been. This new generation can't make their own wealth okay without relying on our parents. You just don't have the right grind set, man. Are you gonna be a pussy and sit in your mother's basement playing video games all day, or are you gonna get out every day at the break of dawn and start grinding like me? Join my male motivational class to teach you how to be a true alpha male. You'll get more wealth if you become proper incel and don't spend money on dates. This is very true. A lot of people who complain about there's no way for them to build up wealth aren't actually doing the stuff that you need to do to build up wealth, which is to not waste money. Like, if you actually are willing to do subsistence level living and, like, don't move out of your parents' house, don't ever eat out, don't drink, don't smoke, don't own a car, don't have wife, don't have kids, have no joy, go to sleep at 10 p.m., don't turn on the fucking light because you're using electricity. You can stockpile a lot of wealth. There's like a Japanese YouTubers. See, Japanese fucking love saving money. This is definitely a Japanese thing. Japanese love saving money so much that, like, some people say that their hobby is saving money. They're just like, yeah, I just like stockpiling money. There was like a Japanese YouTuber who's like, yeah, I have like $500,000 worth of yen built up at like 32. And how do I do it? Well, let me show you. Every night I eat one egg and some bean sprouts and a piece of tofu if it's on sale. If I've been a good boy, I'm allowed just a small amount of tofu. I have calculated the bare minimum of nutrients that I can subsist on before I die. And I have been living like this for the last 10 years. It's like, cool. You've made yourself into a slave. That's awesome, dude. I've met teenagers that have trouble with math that got their first jobs at their parents' company where they make twice as much as I do starting off. It is what it is. I mean, it's always been that way, though. That isn't particularly new or something of this current generation. Nepotism was always the best way of making money. Like, 99% of current billionaires are billionaires because they inherited like $1 billion. The way to get rich is to have rich parents. It's always been that way. Why do you think like the Roman Catholic Church and like the English royalty are some of the richest people on the planet? It's because they have hundreds of years of owning land and owning money, and then interest and like the profit just accumulate over time. This is why you need to have aggressive taxation. $500,000 yen, isn't that like 10 cents? I said the equivalent of $500,000 in yen. If Ball makes it, blame it on nepotism. I mean, that's not incorrect. Just the fact that I'm allowed to sit in my mother's house without paying rent is a form of nepotism. If I was actually fucking poor, my name would be like Pedro, and I'd be in a room where I have to share with my brother, my 2 sisters, and 3 nephews, and I wouldn't be able to use the internet because the internet is too fucking weak, and I wouldn't be able to get anything done because every 3 seconds I'd be interrupted with my, my niece Juanita asking me to help her with her math homework or some shit. I'd be like, I have to fucking move out right now. So the fact that I just get to chill in my room and stream is a form of nepotism. It's just not like the giga nepotism that comes with like, inheriting a fucking trust fund and becoming a vice president of your daddy's company or whatever. People who are actually poor are like actually fucked. Honestly, that's something I never understood about USA. Why do people there kick teenagers out at 18? Because that's the boomers who haven't been able to move on from the period in which land and rent was super cheap. But the current generation is much less so because, attitudes have adjusted a little. But until recently, it was like, why aren't you out of your parents' house, you fucking, loser? You should be able to pay for your own rent. And now finally the boomers have realized actually rent costs you like half of your paycheck or 75% of your paycheck if you're trying to live in a city. So yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Living rent-free in huge parents' house is a form of generational wealth. Exactly. Although my parents' house is small as fuck, but I never leave my room, so it's not a big deal. As long as I have a very small amount of space in which I can draw, that's all I really need. Boomer behavior represented in pop culture when the going was good. It was sound advice since boomers just stumbled into wealth, but now that's just spiteful behavior. Yeah. Boomers just grew up in a time of unprecedented economic expansion and peace and shit like that, I guess, besides the Vietnam War and shit. And they thought that they were achieving stuff on their own, but just like every other generation, they were just taking a free ride on the good fortune of being born in that place and time. You get a new house when you have a wife that you want to have sexo with, and then you're going to have more kids, and then they need their own rooms. That's when you get a new house in other parts of the world. And because I'm not having any sexo anytime soon, there's no reason for me to move out. If I actually did want to move out, I could just move to Japan and only pay like $400 a month for rent. Maybe less, depending on where I live. And it wouldn't be a big deal. American rent and like house price situation is so fucked because I guess they've let all these private housing companies just like buy up all the stockpiles of houses available. It seems. That's what I've been told is why the house prices are so fucked. Is like there's all these houses that are unsold and shit. Isn't pay grade also lower, same as the cost of living in Japan? I mean, it depends. You get paid less, but you don't pay for a lot of stuff like healthcare and shit. Rent is cheap, food is cheap. They ask you to work more hours. And if you have a job at a bad company, then they won't properly pay you overtime, but then you have to just find a different company, because fuck that. Why the fuck you guys have that homeowners association shit? How the hell people just accept it? Because people want to have their nice white picket fence lawns and stuff, that's why. You would understand if you're a proper American who believed in freedom and justice and having nice white communities. I don't know, it's another thing from the 50s. There's a lot of stupid shit like lawn care and stuff that is part of American culture that was just... It's bad traditions. Honestly, most of the stuff that's bad in America was created during the boomers being like, we really like lawns and shit like that, so you can just blame the boomers for everything and you'll be right most of the time. It really is that simple usually. You can buy cheap rural houses in Japan, though they have some huge cons to them. You don't have to do the whole, like, dilapidated farmhouse in rural Japan route if you're in Japan. There's plenty of just, like, normal apartments that have low rent. I don't know why Japan has kept rents so low consistently, but they really have. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we need a farmhouse or something. Although that's probably the cheapest way if you want to buy a house. Remember in Japan though, you need to prepare for earthquakes and shit. So if the house is old, it might not have all the new earthquake technology that you probably want. And you're opening yourself up to getting crushed by a pillar when you get hit by the massive 8 magnitude giga earthquake that's going to come at some point. I remember some boomer professor said that his generation made the space race. The boomers were born in a time when they literally got to miss all the horrible shit like World War II and then grow up as everything was like being built and get all the benefits from that stuff. I would be more salty if I wasn't in line to properly inherit my parents' boomer wealth as a boomer child millennial. Probably because everyone's going to the big cities in Japan, so everything else gets cheaper. By big cities, Tokyo. Everyone's just going to Tokyo. Tokyo is the only place where like population is steadily increasing and stuff, so... But even Tokyo has done a good job keeping rent relatively low. Average rent in Tokyo is like... it's like the equivalent of like $900 or so. It's under... What was it actually? Let's actually check. Average rent in Tokyo. The average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Tokyo can range from 70,000 to 18,000 yen. So yeah, if you stay outside the city center, you can basically get a monthly apartment in Japan for less than $1,000 a month, which is something that you could never fucking get in any kind of American metropolis area. Like, if I ask average rent, let's say, I don't know, Los Angeles apartment. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles, California is around $2,456, boys. Let's fucking go! Only $2,400 a month. Keck W. This is 30%, 7% higher than the national average rent price of $1,500 per month. So the average rent price in America is 150% higher, or I guess just 50% higher than the average rent price in fucking Tokyo. I mean, that should tell you something, right? Japan's so expensive and not worth moving is a long-running lie. Japan has always had fucking dirt cheap food for some reason, which is really interesting considering they've always had some of the best food on the planet. You could always shop around. It's always like some weird-ass stuff like fruit or cheese that's like extremely expensive. But if you're just going for like survival level food, Japan has some of the cheapest, best food. What good is there even in LA for an average person? Don't ask me. You can live out your GTA fantasies in real life. Isn't that awesome, boys? I'll just inherit my father's unpaid house loan that he refuses to pay. Can't you not inherit debts as long as you renounce the house? Although it might be cheaper to just get the house and then pay off whatever he's not willing to pay. Or something like that. I can't remember how debts work. I don't think, like, if your parents are in, like, mega credit card debt, the credit card companies are like, you have to pay it off for your parents. Which is why you should go into insane credit card debt before you die to fuck over the credit card companies. Just for lulz. Thanks for the Prime sub, True Nun. I appreciate the support. I could get a meal in Tokyo at 7-Eleven for 500 yen. I can buy an egg sandwich at 7-Eleven for $5 in America. I mean, konbini are not the cheapest way to eat, too. I mean, if I go to Japanese internet and I look for, like, gekiyasu, that means... Oh, this is the place that all the foreign YouTubers go to. This is called Nishinari. It's basically Japan's only slum. There's always like, it's a part of Osaka. It was like a day laborer camp, and all these Western white European YouTubers go there to be like, I went to Japan's craziest slum, and it's just, you know, it's fine. But it has like the slum stuff where there's like drunk ass guys on the street and shit. See, I said that, and literally 5 seconds later, he finds a drunk guy on the street. Look at this. It's like, here we go. This is, see, that's Japan Poverty Land. Is there's a guy on the street. There's like fucking alcohol zombies. I was living in a part of Tokyo that was also like, would be considered a classic downtown area, and I would find guys like that on the fucking pavement on Sunday. Instead of, you know, all the cool fentanyl stuff, they just have normal drunks. You get your fucking okonomiyaki. See if they show the prices. Oh man, this fucking crazy slum. Look at this. Oh man, nobody could sleep in this room. Oh, you actually get a refrigerator. That's nice. You get your tatami room. Eat his fucking okonomiyaki. Oh yeah, they're selling canned goods for 50 yen each. That stuff is... They have a alcohol vending machine, of course. Oh, I get it. They sell stuff in the vending machine is... they sell stuff that's about to expire. Japan has super strict expiration dates, so they have a shit ton of food waste. So if you find these places that just like give you stuff that's about to expire, you can like eat for free, basically. Japan is too poor for quality American fentanyl. Japan, we live by our traditions, our traditional way of killing ourselves by drinking too much alcohol. Cali weather is okay compared to most states. This is why everyone wants to live in California, and also why they have the entire state burned down every 3 months. Because when we say California weather is okay, what we mean is it's never fucking raining, which means that everything is dry and everything's ready to burn. So that's not exactly a good thing. $50, that's 0.5 cents. It's like 42 cents at this point. Guess I avoided that part of Osaka. Basically every part of Osaka is pretty trashy though, I would say. I'm sure some Osaka people would disagree, but as someone who lived in Tokyo, I feel like Osaka is the trashy ass city. Why the fuck someone would want to live in California? I mean, there's a reason why everyone's leaving and going to Texas right now, but yeah. Part of the reason is because there's not much rain. That's part of it. I think the American comparison of Osaka, what would it be? It's still like the second largest city in Japan. It would definitely be somewhere in the south, because they lost with the war in Tokyo. If they had won the war, Osaka would have been the capital of Japan instead of Tokyo, so... It's some sort of antebellum Mississippi location. It would be Los Angeles. No, it'd be like the Deep South somewhere. Trashy ass Deep South. What was the capital of the Confederacy? Alright, I have to go jog the shit out of my body now. See you around, boys. I won't have internet for I don't know how long because Comcast is going to be doing, like, I don't know, fixing shit. Hopefully it'll just be for a day tomorrow, but there's a possibility I won't have internet for a while. See you around, guys. Good night.